The rebellion that began as whispers across distant provinces had now reached the gates of Medina. What started as murmur of discontent had grown into a storm that surrounded the very heart of Islam. The man who once unified the entire Muslim Ummah, the generous Khalifa who gave everything for Allah and His Messenger ﷺ, was now besieged by those deceived by false promises and twisted words. This is not just a story of politics or rebellion. It is the story of patience in the face of betrayal, of faith when the world turned against you, and of a leader who chose peace over power. The final days of Hazrat Uthman ibn Affan, the third Caliph of Islam. When the rebel entered Medina, they claimed to come in the name of justice and reform. But what they carried was not truth. It was confusion, envy, and manipulation. Hazrat Uthman faced them not with anger or with the force of authority, but with calm dignity. Surrounded by hostility, he continued to lead prayers, offer gentle advice, and remind the believer that a true Muslim never raised his sword against another Muslim. His composure was unmatched, his patience divine. Many companions of Prophet ﷺ came forward, ready to defend him with their lives. Hazrat Ali, Hazrat Talha, Hazrat Zubair, and even the grandsons of Prophet ﷺ, Hazrat Hassan and Hazrat Hussain, offered to guard his house, but the Khalifa refused them all. I did not wish to be the first Khalifa to shed Muslim blood, he said softly. And so the siege dragged on. 40 long painful days of hunger, thirst, and unbearable tension. Lies spread across Medina like wildfire. Forged letters were circulated in his name. Whispers filled with mosques. And those who once loved and admired him began to doubt the truth. Yet, through every trial, Hazrat Uthman held the Qur'an close to his heart. It was his comfort, his companion, and his defense. Then came the morning that would change history forever. The Qur'an lay open before him as rays of sunlight filtered through his small window. His beloved wife, Naila stood nearby as he recited calmly, unaware that destiny was about to unfold. Suddenly, angry shouts filled the street outside. The rebels had broken through the gates and stormed his house. Still, Hazrat Uthman remained seated, unwavering, his lips moving with the verses of Quran. His trust was entirely in Allah. The final words he read were, "So Allah will suffice you against them, and He is all-hearing and the all-knowing." At that very moment, a sword struck him. His blood fell upon the holy words of the Quran, forever making the page of his final recitation. Naila rushed to protect him, only to have her fingers severed by a sword's blow. And just like that, the Caliph of Islam, the man who had compiled and preserved the Quran for all generations, was murdered while reciting it. Silence fell in upon Medina. The city that once echoed with the Prophet ﷺ footsteps now wept in disbelief. When the companion heard the news, their hearts shattered. Hazrat Ali cried deeply. Hazrat Talha and Hazrat Zubair stood speechless. And when Hazrat Aisha heard of his death, she said with grief, "You have killed a man who was modest even before the angels." The street of Medina turned from noise to numbness. Some of the rebels fled in fear, realizing too late the enormity of their sin. Others stood in shock, unable to comprehend what they had done. How could such blood be spilled in the city of the Prophet ﷺ? Far away in Damascus, Hazrat Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, governor of Syria and relative of Uthman, received the news. The message struck him like lightning. The Khalifa he had served with loyalty and respect had been slain, not by enemies of Islam, but by men who claimed to belong to it. Muawiyah wept openly before the people of Syria. His heart filled with grief and anger. Then he stood and addressed them, saying, "By Allah, this is no small wrong. The blood of Khalifa has been spilled, and the Ummah will not heal until justice is done." He sent urgent letters to Medina demanding that the killers be found and punished before any new pledge of alliance be given. His words were firm: "No bay'ah where blood goes unanswered." He ordered the people of Syria to prepare not for war but for discipline and unity. His stance was clear: justice first, allegiance later. The position, though born of loyalty and rightness, would soon shape the future of the Ummah, leading to one of the most complex and painful divisions in Islamic history. Back in Medina, chaos and sorrow prevailed. For 3 long days, the blessed body of Hazrat Uthman lay unburied due to unrest and fear in the city. No public funeral could be held. Finally, under the calm leadership of Hazrat Ali, a small group of devoted companions carried him silently to Jannatul Baqi at night. There were no banners, no crowd, and no speeches, only tears, whispers of dua, and the sound of shovels in the quiet earth. The Khalifa, who had given everything for Islam, was buried with same simplicity and humility with which he had lived. After his martyrdom, the fire that consumed Medina slowly began to fade, not because of peace, but because of shock. The rebels, realizing the weight of their crime, began to scatter. Some fled to distant lands, others hid, haunted by guilt and fear. Hazrat Ali stepped forward, determined to restore order and prevent further bloodshed. He stopped the people of Medina from seeking revenge, bringing calm to market, mosques, and homes. Negotiations were made to prevent a full civil war. The siege had ended, but unity was broken. For the first time since the Prophet ﷺ, Muslims began to fear one another. In the days and weeks that followed, grief turned into uncertainty. The Ummah was divided, torn between sorrow and question of justice. Hazrat Ali was chosen as the new Khalifa, but the question of accountability for Hazrat Uthman murder remained unanswered. Hazrat Muawiyah in Syria refused to give allegiance until the murderers were punished. His stance, driven by both faith and family duty, that demand became the central issue of the next era. What had begun as a rebellion in Medina was now evolving into wider political and moral crisis, a test of faith, justice, and leadership that would shape generations to come. Yet, even in her death, Hazrat Uthman's legacy could not be erased. He was the Khalifa who unified the Qur'an, expanded the Islamic empires across the sea, and gave his immense wealth for the sake of Allah. He ruled with humility, lived with modesty, and died reciting the very book he had preserved. His patience became his power, and his martyrdom became his victory. His life reminds us that true strength lies not in the anger or force, but in faith and endurance. From his death began one of the most testing chapters in the Ummah's story, one that would lead to the Caliphate of Hazrat Ali, the battles of Jamal and Siffin, and the long struggle to bring unity back to a wounded nation. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue next with the rise of Hazrat Ali.